Now, gin could almost be thought of as the first flavored vodka. I mean, it starts out as a basic neutral spirit that has either been distilled from numerous botanicals such as bark, leaves, seeds, and of course juniper berries, or has had them added to produce that unmistakable gin flavor. The word gin comes from the Dutch word for juniper. Developed in Holland in the 17th century, gin started out, like most spirits, as a medicine and was used to treat stomach and kidney ailments. To make the harsh spirit more palatable, the Dutch started adding pungent juniper berries to it, long thought to have medicinal properties of their own. British troops fighting in Europe during the 30 Years' War were given what was known as Dutch courage to soothe ailments and also to keep them warm in the cold northern climate. Soldiers returning to England from the war brought their taste for this unique spirit home with them. Gin became very popular with the English farmers and public. The farmers loved it because its increasing popularity with the English people required lots of grains like corn and barley for production. The people loved it because it could be made and sold cheaply. When William of Orange came to the English throne in the 17th century, he actively encouraged the distillation of gin. Then anyone could make gin, and they did. Sometimes gin was even distributed to workers as part of their wages instead of the more common and expensive ale. By 1739, gin was so cheap that abuse became a major problem, so the Gin Act was created, which made gin crazy expensive for most people. Riots broke out, and the act was later repealed because some of the gin sold on the black market was killing people. These black market gins were often adulterated with turpentine and sulfuric acid, but the pungent and powerful juniper, along with the other botanicals, masked these deadly impurities. After new laws and regulations were introduced, gin went from the cheap drink of the masses to the preferred cocktail of the elite.
One of the most popular cocktails ever, the classic gin and tonic, came about as an anti-malarial potion during the British rule of colonial India. Quinine, the main ingredient in tonic, had medicinal properties, but was bitter, so gin was added to balance the bitterness. Lime helped by adding fresh flavor and vitamin C to the mix, which was important to the British Navy to help prevent scurvy. Thus, the gin and tonic came to be thought of as the national cocktail of Great Britain.
Gin came into the world view during the cocktail age of the Roaring '20s. As an exciting import from Europe, the U.S. embraced gin. Many early cocktail recipe books contain numerous concoctions made with varying amounts of gin, lemon, sugar, and water. But after Prohibition, gin, at one time the drink of choice, fell out of favor for decades. Today, though, many cutting-edge bars are working really hard to bring this versatile spirit back into favor, and inventive and traditional gin cocktails are showing up on many bar menus.
Gin is a colorless or white spirit distilled from grains and botanicals. The botanicals among which juniper is the most prevalent include coriander, citrus peel, cinnamon bark, licorice, lavender, whatever the distiller's often secret recipe requires. They are either suspended between the still and the cooling coils so their flavors and aromas can absorb into the steam, or they are steeped into the neutral spirit before being redistilled. There are a few different types of gin out there, but the type you will encounter the most is London Dry gin. London Dry is a light, dry, clear spirit without a hint of sweetness. This makes it like vodka. Great for cocktails. Another type of gin currently gaining in popularity is Plymouth gin. Made only in the town of Plymouth, England, it's slightly sweeter with a fuller body and softer finish than London Dry. But since gin is increasing in popularity overall, connoisseurs are seeking out other styles like Plymouth and the much sweeter Old Tom gin to expand their palates.
Gin is often mixed with ginger ale, club soda, or lemon, lime, orange, or grapefruit juices. After the gin and tonic, the most popular gin cocktail is the classic gin martini, gin mixed with dry vermouth. When it comes to martinis, a current trend is to ask for them dry. This means little to no vermouth. But dry can mean different things to different people. I know it's confusing, but the safeguard is to always ask a guest if they want any vermouth at all, unless they say bone dry, because then you know they definitely mean none. Other popular gin cocktails include the Tom Collins, made with gin, lemon sour, and soda, the Gin Gimlet, a combination of gin and lime juice, and the Salty Dog, made with gin and grapefruit juice and a salted rim. However you mix it, gin is a spirit worth getting to know better.
Okay, so let's review the main points about gin. First and foremost, gin is a colorless or white spirit distilled from grains and botanicals. Juniper is the most prevalent of the botanicals. Second, gin comes from the Dutch word for juniper. Gin was developed in Holland in the 17th century and, like all spirits, started out as a medicine. The pungent juniper berries, believed to have medicinal properties of their own, were added to make the harsh base spirit more palatable. We learned that London Dry Gin is a light, dry, clear spirit without a hint of sweetness. Also, Plymouth Gin is made only in the English town of Plymouth and is slightly sweeter with a much fuller body. Finally, while the gin and tonic is an all-time classic, gin is now being poured in a variety of cocktails.